Well, you see how Missouri is with and without Stone. He brings them energy, he brings them offense, he makes everyone around him better just by being on the court.
Kentucky hasn't started 0-2 in league play since the 8th season of the Tubby Smith era. That was 05-06. And Missouri has never been 2-0 in Southeastern Conference play. Anthony Robinson, the second, runs the point. Denzel Aberdeen has that assignment early, and here's Missouri's best weapon, Mark Mitchell. Heavy traffic inside, and Mitchell works his way to the paint. Stone gives it back to him. Missouri's coming off of a monster win at home against Florida that was decided in the 70s, 76-74. Robinson banked in the game-sealing three late in that game. He's off the mark here.
You see already what Twighton's can do. He was an absolute bull on the defensive end just now, holding his own against the ball screens, not getting switched, and getting a rebound.
Aberdeen 17-footer rattles home. And we'll keep an eye on what difference it makes having Jalen Lowe on the floor to start the game for Kentucky. Mark Pope saying he's not specifically on a minutes restriction. We're just trying to protect him and that shoulder, which will be a recurring issue throughout the season. Here's Mitchell off the feed from Robinson.
And that's what you're going to have to do if you're Missouri. If you come through the lane and you can draw Quaitons, it's got to be one more. Be able to pass and catch in traffic as the rim protector comes over.
Kentucky lost Saturday against Alabama by 15. They fell behind early. In fact, every major opponent that Jalen Lowe has played against, he's entered with the Cats trailing. That issue solved tonight with the starting assignment. 8th different starting five for Kentucky this season. Cruz nearly turned it over. Here's Missouri's best shooter and one of the best in the country at 6'8".
You see Owe down low. They don't normally switch, but they got caught on one. Did Kentucky. Great job by Owe.
Ripped it away from the 7-footer. Sean Phillips. Wide open, Jalen Lowe. Lowe's only shooting 21% from deep. Kentucky team that shot the lights out from behind the arc last season. They don't have the same offensive ceiling as Mark Pope told us today at shoot-around. Mitchell's jump hook is no good.
Well, not the same personnel as they went up against in Tuscaloosa, but the physicality, the attention to detail early on the defensive end has been really impressive so far.
Lowe got two Tigers in the air. Here's Aberdeen. Lowe and Robinson went to head-to-head when Lowe was at tip. Whistle pass inside, point-blank look, falls away, and Missouri comes out of there with it. Diabate ended up on the hardwood. Robinson steps through and finishes.
It seems like every time you miss a point-blank layup, it leads to another one for the opponent. Missouri makes them pay after a brilliant feed.
Robinson coming off of a monster game against Florida. 5 assists to go with 19 points and 8 rebounds. Here's Otega Owe, preseason conference player of the year in the SEC. Got mismatched with Phillips and got fouled on his way to the rim. Dennis Gates put together the non-conference schedule with intent. They were able to build some confidence against the lower level teams, but the win against Minnesota is looking better as the weeks go by. They knocked off Indiana in December. Minnesota got a big win against Iowa last night, but blown out against their rivals, both in Kansas City against the Jayhawks and in St. Louis against Illinois. Otega always got another one coming.
If there's one thing we've learned about Dennis Gates and him being the leader of this program is he handles adversity well. Whether it's an 0-18 conference season, they bounce back from that. They had that tough loss against Illinois that you alluded to. Keeps his composure, no panic, keeps the locker room, and just when you think they're out, man, they come back.
Well, they had a fantastic Christmas break. He did not schedule a game post-Christmas intentionally. They used 12 days of practice to get their 5 on the floor as they returned multiple guys from injuries, not just Stone, but also Trent Pierce, and that paid off in a big way in a win against the reigning national champs. Mitchell puts it on the floor. He had 2 threes against the Cats last year. Cruz no good. And the rebound tipped out of bounds as Phillips tried to save it. So here's Mark Pope, captain of the national championship team in 1996 here at UK. And I think the biggest takeaway from our discussion with him today was they're not going to be offensively what he thought they could be. So with that ceiling being lower, The emphasis has got to be on being a better and more consistent defensive team.
Well, the best lineups could change from game to game. We see a little bit bigger one here, but I think this is probably their best mix of offense and defense as it relates to this matchup with Missouri.
Diabate fouled by Mitchell.
And the ability for Kentucky to have some versatility in their lineup. While this is a bigger lineup, you can bring Cam Williams, a shooter off the bench, playing the 4. We saw them have some offensive success against Alabama, and they're trying, like, look, their sample size is really hard to look at analytically because they've been so great against inferior competition, yet struggled so much against better competition that it's really hard to correlate what is their best lineups, who is best together, and then when you mix in all the injuries they've had without Lowe and Quaintance at times, it's just been tough to judge.
Diabate is 73% free throw shooter, rattles the first home. He had 6 points and 8 boards against his former team and Coach Nate Oates on Saturday. Malachi Moreno enters for Jaden Quaintance. Another one coming for Diabate. He's missed a lot of time, and over the Christmas break he was out with the flu and suffered through some cramping issues coming off of that. Gives him 12 points a game. Robinson gives it up. Missouri's scoring 83 points a game. Better from 2 than 3, and Stone with the back cut proves it as he finishes at the rim.
Yeah, and that's some of the confusion Kentucky has. Are they switching it? Are they not? Just miscommunication on the backside. Good patience by Missouri, working the ball side to side until they got what they wanted.
Handoff for Lowe. Stone trying to recover to pick him back up. Another screen for Moreno. And rejected by Phillips. What was a lob to Moreno. Slow start in this one. Tigers and Cats tied at 6. Kentucky has missed its last 4. Back to Lexington in a moment.
According to EvanMaya.com, no team in the country has regressed more against better competition than Kentucky Wildcats.
In the country?
That's right. And so it's a concern. But again, they're starting to get their lineups together. They're healthier. Let's see if they can have an identity, because right now they don't have an offensive identity or a defensive identity. And I believe defensively they have a better chance.
It's a shot clock violation as Diabate had to launch it from about 30 feet. Talking with Mark Proth at practice yesterday, he reiterated the fact that not only have they not been full speed in games, but it's a matter of being full speed in practice as well. And a big part of that with their spacing is getting Jalen Lowe to be more of a full contact participant in practice. He's still building his strength and dealing with a shoulder injury that will likely linger all season.
Had a chance to watch Lowe get some shots up before film, and it was interesting. He was out here, but he had a timer on his phone. When it went off, he said, "Hey guys, we got 5 minutes before film." Like he was talking to his teammates. He was organized. I asked Coach Pope about that. He goes, "I've been so pleased with his vocal leadership on and off the court."
Here's Robinson with a mid-range 17-footer, and that's good. He's playing with a ton of confidence right now. Banked in the game-sealing 3 against Florida, and coming out of that huddle, Dennis Gates looked right at him and said, "You're taking the shot. I want you to. You want to." And he was able to convert. Lowe left the drive short. A couple empty possessions in the paint for Lowe. Transition 3, Stone. And a rebound by Denzel Aberdeen. Aberdeen lob. Olay left it just a hair short. And now Missouri's got to run out the other way. Moreno ended up playing defensive back. And now Cruz trying to take advantage. 3 ball off the mark. He's at his best from the top of the key. And now Aberdeen. Moreno got away with a push-off on Cruz and a 2-hand flush finish.
It's a good job by Moreno. Moreno getting that ball with 2 hands, catching it in traffic, spinning off the defense.
You expect this one to be low scoring tonight?
Perhaps. Missouri coming off that good game against Florida, but they have not been great offensively either. And Kentucky with some of this inconsistency as well. So I could see this being in the 60s, low 70s.
Missouri had a terrible stretch against Notre Dame, Kansas, and Illinois, where they shot just 42% from 2. Marino picks up his first personal.
I think one thing from Missouri on the offensive end, Kentucky's a team that doesn't like to switch a lot. And if you can set good, solid screens and really set your man up, you'll be able to free yourself up or your teammate up. So far, Kentucky doing a pretty good job of busting through some of that.
Here's Mark Mitchell at the free throw line, one of the best free throw rates in the country, but Missouri as a team not getting to the line as often as they had, and he's just a 68% shooter from there. 2 years at Duke, ACC tournament champs, with the Elite Eight with them in 24, and now career highs in points per game and field goal percentage. He's a deft passer in the post as well.
This is a big part of Missouri's offense. Last year, they were second in the country at free throw rate. This year, just 98. So they got to find a way to get themselves to the stripe and then convert.
Aberdeen guarded by T.O. Barrett into the game for the first time. With Northweather at the post, and a Gill up another thump. This time it's Brandon Garrison.
Now, Missouri wanted to double off that baseline side, but a great job by Moreno of recognizing that double coming and getting the pass off.
I thought the Kentucky bigs couldn't pass.
Nate Oates giving us all types of headlines this week.
He said Vanderbilt hadn't played anybody either.
That's right. It's one thing to say something before the game, or excuse me, after the game, but he's saying that before the game now.
Continuation gives Barrett a bucket and a trip to the free throw line for the sophomore from Oklahoma City.
Scramble here is can't get the hand caught in the cookie jar there if you're Kentucky, especially when you got the height advantage. Just build a wall, try to block that instead of steal it.
So Barrett, 10 for 12 from the free throw line. His mom was a soccer star in the Big 12 at Oklahoma. Spent a year at Link Academy and converts a three-point play. I think Brandon Garrison could be a really key piece for this Kentucky team as they continue to ramp up Jaden Quayton's minutes.
I couldn't agree more. He has not had the best start to this season, but he's physical, he's big, he's got promise, and he can give them some much-needed size in an SEC where physicality is top-notch.
Cam Williams off the mark from 3. Generally the second team on the floor right now for Kentucky, with the exception, Aberdeen's out there. So 4 out of 5 reserves here as we approach the 12-minute mark. Mitchell kicks it out. Stone working on Chandler. Long mid-range. Garrison on the glass. Garrison started the first 5 games of the season, and he was in and perhaps out of Mark Pope's doghouse due to some lack of effort. And that was addressed. One of 2 McDonald's All-Americans on this Kentucky team. Spin, and Randall, the freshman, left it wide. He lost his landmark as he got into the paint. Chandler skips it into the corner.
So when you look right now for Kentucky, who on the court can make somebody else around them better? And that's the problem. When you don't have Lowe on the court, who else can run the show?
And so they'll bring 2 starters off the bench after the under-12. Missouri leads by 2.
And because the help defender was in drop coverage, that led to another wide-open 3. We asked Mark Pope specifically about a couple of those plays in practice. He said, yeah, we went through those in film room, and it's a mixture right now of areas we have to correct. But I think they all agree that the ceiling for Kentucky's defense may be a little bit higher than their offense. And to be candid, that's what they recruited in the offseason. He felt like coming into the season, he could have one of the best defensive teams in the country. And because of some of the injuries and trying to figure out rotations, we hadn't seen that yet, but they still have optimism.
Well, I thought it was interesting today at shoot-around that the ball screen defense they were preaching, and his explanation of it afterwards is that I don't like guys to be stuck with hard and fast rules, meaning it's your job to get through it. Now, there are certainly guidelines, there's ways they want them to play it, but if something extreme happens, just do what you have to do to get back to your mate.
And I've been there as a player where the coach said, you have to lock and trail on this defender. Don't go over the screen. You got to go under. Well, sometimes the screen's setup switches a little bit, and you got to pivot. And that's what he wants the Kentucky players to have, is the flexibility of knowing, bottom line is get the job done, get back on the shoot.
Offense really struggling. Just 2 for their last 10, and now 10 seconds to shoot. Jalen Lowe with a mismatch guarded by Mitchell. He gives it up because he found another mismatch. And then a Kentucky turnover.
I think that goes back to the point of Kentucky's bigs. It's not that they're unselfish because of their assist. Great rim protection there.
Yeah. You think that makes a difference, having Jaden Quaintance on the floor?
He does. He set a freshman record at Arizona State. And block shots and big-time rim protection. But just to put a bow on that thought, I mean, these Kentucky bigs, I don't think they're a black hole down low. I just don't think they're the playmakers. Certainly not what they had a year ago with Amari Lee.
Another foul on Kentucky, dead ball foul, as Cam Williams picks up his first. To your point about Quaintance and his defense last year at Arizona State, where he played as one of the youngest players in the country at just 17 years old, he was the first in Big 12 history to be named the all-rookie team and the all-defensive team. And it looks like Doug Shaw's going to put a headset on and go to the monitor. Our crew tonight led by Doug Schaus, the veteran Pat Adams, and Rob Rourke. Slow start offensively for both sides. Missouri 36% shooting, Kentucky 27%.
The quality of looks hasn't been great. I think this has more to do with the defensive effort. Yeah, both teams have missed a couple bunnies. But other than that, it's been contested or mid-range type shots.
And there have been some misses at the rim. Kentucky 0 for 3 on layups so far tonight. Well, here's what they're looking at. And watch the elbow for Cam Williams on 0, Anthony Robinson.
Common foul, Missouri's ball on the baseline.
I kind of feel like that could have been upgraded the way that elbow finished up on the chin of Robinson.
Yeah, I think if it went any higher above the shoulder area, given the second elbow that came through, they might have upgraded that. But I'm okay with that call.
Missouri's Trent Pierce gets a touch. He didn't play the first 13 games for the Tigers. Inside to Barrett, and he's able to finish on Lowe. Teams are going to take advantage of the physicality with Jalen Lowe.
That's exactly right. I mean, they don't typically post up T.O. Barrett, does Missouri, but they saw an opportunity in film to say, you know what, we can post up Lowe.
Lowe's playing with that bum shoulder. Kept him out of action. It is put him on the bench a couple of times, and Barrett with the bump picks up his first assist.
Point, Tom. I mean, he's just going to step right in and post up after inbounding the ball, and it's just 4 around 1 with T.O. Barrett. That's not something you expected in the preseason, but it's a matchup-based set for Missouri. Well executed there.
And speaking of matchups, they did a great job against Florida using Jacob Cruz. They're sometimes 2-man, but primarily 3-man to post up on Florida's smaller guards. Here's Lowe. Got Robinson on his hip, couldn't take advantage. 5 to shoot for Quaintance. Quaintance takes it deep to the block, and he's fouled on his way up. And Jaden Quaintance will be at the free throw line. He was very nearly a Missouri Tiger when Dennis Gates was coaching at Cleveland State. Quaintance lived right around the corner from him. Relationship with the family. And Quaintance going to the line. Just 3 for 9 this season. We'll have one more coming his way. He was committed to John Calipari. Then Cal took the Arkansas job. Quaintance got back in the transfer situation, a recruiting world, and instead of going up to Missouri, he ended up at Arizona State, where James Harden had given a big chunk of money to secure him through an NIL deal. 1 year at Arizona State, he wasn't draft eligible because of his age, and that's why he's got year number 2 in college. Likely lottery pick. And a foul inside, and they're going to get Low. That time it was Robinson trying to post him up.
Going back to the NIL conversation, it's the new norm. I mean, to be able to just say, yeah, James Harden wrote a check. He went there. More to it than that, I'm sure, with the relation-based stuff. But we had a great conversation with Dennis Gates on that, and he just shook his head. He said, look, and you could say I said this, at this rate, school is about to be optional. And that is extremely scary.
Well, I think the more interesting thing, if you look at it from a Kentucky perspective, look at the millions, hundreds of millions of dollars of Kentucky players have in NBA contracts. I mean, on the Missouri side, John Sundell played 9 years in the league. Can he cut a check and bring in some talent? What are we doing, Sonny? 9 seconds on the shot clock for Mizzou. And Pierce will inbound.
By the way, if school being optional sounds like an old concept that you already applied.
I thought it was. Robinson finishes. Missouri's guards getting it done in the paint.
Well,
it's a 7-0 Tiger run.
And baseline out of bounds. Those are special teams type moments. And 4 points for Missouri on those out of bounds plays.
Nice move inside, but it's lost. Another Kentucky turnover, 4th of the game. Robinson dumps it off. Hello, Mitchell. Wow, what a finish that could have been. And Otega Oweh and the Cats have numbers the opposite way. Through traffic and off the window.
That is where Oweh is absolutely at his best, is in transition with a full head of steam.
6'4", 220. And he got his momentum rolling. They run low into multiple screens. Robinson. Lob to Mitchell. Got deep on Diabate. Mitchell, heavy left-handed, gives it up to Pierce for 3 from the corner.
Mitchell's just so good. He can play 1 through 5. He can guard 1 through 5. He's a willing passer in the paint.
Rupp Arena crowd trying to give the home team a little boost.
If Kentucky's going to get the ball inside with Diabate, he's either going to finish or take care of the basketball. Too many empty possessions.
Diabate around Pearson. He'll get a blocking foul. Pierce who will go. Missouri up by a touchdown.
Kentucky's offense might struggle in the half court, but it does not struggle in transition. Led by Otega Oweh all the way to the hoop with a nice step through. And then just a good kick out. Highest percentage spot on the court, that corner 3. Bang, bang.
Of the old Camp Cal days, we'd get in for 2-a-days and just grind and grind and grind.
Yeah, they worked on themselves. They got healthier. And then they went toe-to-toe. This is a Missouri team not known up until this point for its physicality, its rebounding. But then they went up against Florida, who dominates teams on the glass, and they tied them in that call, and that won them the game.
Another free throw coming for Mo Diabate. Giving him 12 and 8 with 2 steals and 1 1/3 blocks per game over his last 3. And all of his points have come from the free throw line so far tonight.
Like a little bit of this pressure from Kentucky. Try to get some tempo going.
You think this Kentucky team is better at tempo?
Absolutely. In transition, it certainly helps their offense. Now, can they get enough stops and rebounds and, again, have the right ball handler on the court that can push it?
Robinson working on low into Mitchell, and now Pierce. Missouri continue to try to post up Jalen Lowe and get physical for the 170-pound point guard.
See, that's where it's pretty crowded with 2 bigs. I mean,
yeah.
Moreno was rolling to the basket. Diabate's posting up. That's not a lot of room for Lowe to operate off the ball screen.
You think they're better with a 4-guard lineup?
Well,
or 1 less big,
yes,
I say, to be specific.
For sure.
Here's Oweh. Got it. Otega Oweh shooting just 32% from deep. Knocks it down. And it's a 1-possession game. And Dennis Gates will use a timeout. And the Rupp crowd back into this game thanks to this mini run by the Cats. We're back to Lexington in just 30 seconds.
The presser, he said, I mean, they haven't played any really real good teams yet. When you play one of the toughest schedules in the country yourself, I guess it gives you the right to say such things.
Well, philosophically, we've seen even within this league the different approach to non-conference scheduling. At one end are the Alabamas and Floridas of the world. At the other end, Georgias, Missouris, and Vanderbilts. More than one way to skin a cat, and Otega skins that pass, and he takes it all the way to the rack. 5 straight for Otega Oweh, and we're tied at 19. Skip into the corner for Mitchell. Not a great three-point shooter, but a clutch one. Hit 2 last year against the Cats.
That was a big one to silence the crowd. Mitchell, not known as a three-point shooter. That's the shot you want him to take. 4 for 20 on the year.
Ripped away by Robinson, one of the best defenders in the league. Then he got Moreno to bump the defender, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Robinson, I mean, this guy he has 32 steals on the season, and it's active hands. Just a really good defender, one of the best in the SEC. And look how smart this is. He sees the taller player coming, has him in jail a little bit, lets that momentum get the bump, get to the free throw line.
You break check like that on 75, we got issues. So Anthony Robinson the second, 69% free throw shooter. Grew up in Tallahassee, Florida. Was a great baseball player. Evan Longoria was his baseball hero growing up. He's a big Rays fan. His dad is a Braves fan. He said, yeah, we had some conflict in that situation. His dad, baseball coach at Florida A&M, and he has really turned up his game over the last 4. He had a pretty good high school coach, Charlie Ward. I was talking to him at shoot-around today, and he admitted that he and his teammates really didn't know how good Charlie Ward was. He said, and then there was a 30 for 30 about our high school coach, and we realized real fast. Heisman Trophy winner, then drafted by the Knicks. Here's Moreno. Oweh has a big advantage against the slight Missouri backcourt. Moreno rolls it home. 7-footer from down the road in Georgetown. Has 2 buckets tonight. Continuing an impressive trend of Mr. Basketball from the Commonwealth to make their way here to Lexington. Here's Barrett. Back to Mitchell. Trying to dump it off and turn it over.
A good scramble there by Kentucky on the rotations. The closeout, the help came over. Quality defensive possession there for Kentucky, and then good patience on the other end.
Tigers fell asleep on the inbounds, and Cam Williams finishes. A quick push, tied at 23.
Well, that can't happen if you're Missouri. That's a fast break opportunity off a dead ball situation.
Cats have made their last 5. Pressure on the Tigers now. Kentucky hasn't dropped its SEC home opener since Elston Turner came in from A&M and dropped 40 on him in 2013. Still one of the great performances in Rupp Arena history. 3 to shoot for Mizzou. Stone, pump fake, got Oweh up. And drills it.
They played good defense for about 28 seconds, but you want to be the second guy off the ground, and Oweh bit on the pump fake. Stone with a nice job being patient all the way to the end.
What's working best for Kentucky on the offensive end?
Well, look, they've been able to get the ball inside. They just got to take care of it. That's a better job by Diabate. He's been a little bit inconsistent down there with the ball handling and finishing, but I do think they've been able to get a deep paint touch on most of the possessions.
53% shooting for the Cats, but 5 turnovers. Barrett got by Williams. Here's Phillips. Goes to the right hand off the window.
Well, they don't go to him often, but usually when he's down there on an island, he's a competent player. He can make that little jump hook.
A good feat for a 7-footer and a 42-inch vertical. Missouri showing zone for the first time. Cats prepared for this. Williams hoists the 3. They never got penetration. Physical rebound by Moreno to keep it alive. Oweh down the pipes, and he draws the foul. 28-25, Missouri with the lead, but Otega Oweh will be at the free throw line when we return to Raw.
You know, Coach, I think you got to get the ball inside and preferably going right downhill with Oweh. But what gets harder to do is your best defensive lineup is your bigger lineup. But when you have that bigger lineup in, it is congested down low a little bit.
Well, and I think to Seth's question, the point that you asked Mark Pope today provides great insight. We know who their leaders can be on the offensive end. Who is your alpha on the defensive end? And he winced and he said, We don't know yet.
Yeah.
So Seth is dead on in his assessment from a few hundred miles away. Kevin previewed UConn and Providence. Kimmy English, former Missouri star. Providence coming off a big win against St. John's. Another loaded slate tonight. What a night it was in college basketball. Lassen, holy smokes. Barrett with 3 to shoot. Here's Pierce. He's got great size. Gets caught underneath, and Missouri won't get it off. And a shot clock violation gives it back to the Cats with under 3 to play.
And I think that's the key to Kentucky's defense is multiple efforts. It's not always the first screen that gets them. Sometimes it's the second and third screen in the scramble. That time they played a completely flawless defensive possession.
Well, this is a lineup a lot of the Kentucky fans have been looking for, with Lowe, Owe, Cam Williams, and Quaintance on the floor together, along with Aberdeen. Lowe off balance, and there's Quaintance inside, and he draws the foul.
And here's why I like all of that, is Missouri is a defense that makes teams shoot 47% of their shots from 3. That's good for top 10 in the country. So resisting that bait is what Kentucky is doing, as they've only taken 4 threes out of their 19 shots. And if you get inside shots, you have a chance for inside rebounds. They had a ton of those second chance opportunities, but I think you got to keep getting the ball up off the glass and let Quaintance and Diabate go to work.
Another one coming for Quaintance, who arrived at Arizona State at just 16 years old. Didn't finish the season due to the torn ACL. Didn't play a game over 9 months. I think Mark Pope has alluded to it, if not said it outright. As Quaintance gets stronger and more reliable over the course of the season, this will be a team with much more upside, but it's not going to be immediate.
Well, and I think he can be a cleanup guy on your defense. As you have breakdowns, he can switch out, he can move his feet, he can come and be that rim protector.
And he's got a 7'5" wingspan.
That's right, and gobble up the defensive glass.
Challenge 3. Robinson nearly banked another one in. Wayne says, why don't I just bring it up, everybody? Owe nearly shook Stone. Randall helped out on, came off with Quaintance, and then he nearly had a look. Good help defense. The rebound ends up with Missouri. Randall and Quaintance end up on the floor. 4-on-4 on this side. Stone tries to drive out to Randall.
I'm not sure I've seen Mark Pope that animated and hot on that no call. I mean, the whole way up, he was giving the officials an ear.
He is right in Rob Warwick's hip pocket. 5 to shoot. Stone tied up. Missouri gets a call, and Mark Pope stomping that, and he just got teed up. Another stop for Pope. I'm not sure he's aware he got the first tee, and so Mark Fox will give him some insight.
Here's all the hands down low here as just get mauled. And as he fell to the ground, Mark Pope wanted it. He earned that technical. I mean, he let him have it all the way through the possession. And to make matters worse, when you get called for a hand check after the other one goes against you, obviously pretty livid.
And Pope is staring absolute daggers through Rob Warwick. So here's Stone at the free throw line.
I think the Kentucky fans are okay with the technical. I mean, they want to see fight from this team, fight from their coach. The heart, the passion, you know, is absolutely there. I don't think Pope necessarily intended to get a technical, but he's fighting for his guys. He's got to be careful now, though.
The personal foul is charged to Otega Owe, and that's where these free throws come for Stone. You like the idea? I mean, Stone's not the best free throw shooter on the floor, but to give him a run of free throws with the technical and then the one-on-one, that didn't work.
Can I answer now?
Yeah, sure. Missouri's last in the league in free throw percentage, and their free throw rate, to your point, not nearly what it was last year. And a frustrated Kentucky fan base, their ire now directed at the officials. They'll come alive if this can convert. It can't. Follow's not there. Stone corrals it.
It's the right play by Kentucky, though. Usually you're going to set yourself up to get a whistle, but no contact.
Whoa! Mitchell came flying in from Owensboro for that dunk. And then a steal by Randall. Stone flares out. Missouri trying to take momentum into the locker room. And Mitchell fouled on the post.
Well, after Kentucky missed on the other end and missed the putback, they just lost sight of Mitchell streaking down the right sideline. It looked like Owe was trying to send Quaintance back, and he just didn't see him out of the corner of his eye. But again, it's Kentucky not finishing at the rim. And this is a Missouri team that has some length, but they're scrappy. I mean, they're stripping down the ball, and they are a very frustrating, annoying, pesky team down low. It's not just one guy, it's multiple guys around the ball.
One more coming from Mitchell. Mitchell, second in the SEC points in the paint, 11 of his 17 come at the paint. The majority of the remainder come at the free throw line. I think if you're a Kentucky fan, you might be frustrated tonight, but you're probably excited to see that fire from Mark Pope.
I think so. I think his teams play with really good purpose on the defensive end after a tough showing against Alabama.
Tigers by 6. And barring a Kentucky miracle in the last 30 seconds, they'll be trailing at the half against a major opponent again. Low. Working with Quaintance on the screen. Got Randall on him. And there's a foul against Missouri. Second on Mitchell.
You see the Missouri bench clapping right now after a foul. It's their sense of humor. They didn't agree with the call, but they practiced this at shoot-around and said Dennis Gates was being the official. He was calling the most outlandish hand checks and holds on his own team, and having them be able to react to it in a positive way. Don't get your head down. Don't point your finger. And that's why you saw the Missouri bench get up, laughing and clapping for their teammate that got called for the hand check.
The part of playing life on the road in the SEC. Here's Low. In fact, it got so outrageous from Dennis Gates. He assessed a flagrant one to one of his teammates, one of his players during the shoot-around. Not much that Dennis Gates doesn't think of and go over. Low, 71% free throw shooter. Calmly sinks them both for his first 2 points of the night. The Low will sit for the final 17.
And you see the offense-defense substitutions, and look, that's part of their dilemma right now. They're not the only team in the country that has to do those scenarios, but their best offensive team is not their best defensive team.
4 to shoot. Now 2 to shoot. Owe gets it. And heaves. Ortega Owe past midcourt. Kentucky won't have the lead, but they'll have some life. A 13-point first half for Ortega Owe to lead all scores.
What a wild finish. Just miscommunication on the backdoor play by Missouri and left just enough time for Owe to capitalize. Remember, Missouri probably won the game against Florida after that big play at halftime they made of their own.
Let's get to the studio. Here's Kevin Connors and company. What's your estimate on how far that one went?
I'm going to go 7.
67?
Yes.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I thought you were going to do a 6-7 joke.
I wanted to set you up for it because you were going to be such a dad that's going to ruin the kid's popular joke.
I'm here to embarrass everybody, including myself. Ortega Owe puts it on the ground and try to dump it off to Diabate, but turned it over. Turnovers were an issue first 10 minutes of the half for Kentucky. Ended the first half with 7 turnovers against 22 field goal attempts. And we've got Doug Schow's whistle and a push-off. And that's Phillips. And that is the third on the Missouri side.
It's the playoffs. Not there.
For 15 of left.
It's too early. Is he in? Is he in? Is it a touchdown?
I see. I think I have just the
Dennis Gates wanted to get Phillips out immediately, but just missed by a second, getting Nicholas Randall into the game. A reach in from Anthony Robinson.
If your bet wins. Yes, yes.
I think on the offensive end for Kentucky is just trying to get more out of their screening action and see if we've seen them have success with that flex cut at times along the baseline. Also that double zoom action that they do for Oweh to get him going downhill to his right hand. This is a Missouri team that switched a ton last year. Does not switch nearly as much this season.
Those floater is good. Cats reclaim the lead. We've had 6 ties and 6 lead changes. And it's part of a 7-0 Kentucky run. And another foul off the ball against Missouri. Fouls are dead even at the half. Missouri bench applauding. Dennis Gates is applauding. And Gates is telling his guys, you need to applaud as well.
Yeah, just a nice offhand finish there by Lowe. And as you mentioned, Gates turns to his bench and talks about composure. We're going to stay positive no matter if we agree or disagree with the call. A couple early that have gone against him with the illegal picks.
Lowe got deep. Nothing doing for Kentucky's offense. Aberdeen begging for it. Oweh ignores him. Instead, pulls up and misses and then apologizes to Aberdeen. Now Robinson behind Randall's screen. Randall playing with 3 personals. Here's Stone. And that one lined up, but too strong. Out front is Aberdeen. Feed from Quaintance. Pump fake, and he let him fly right by.
And that's as good of a defensive rebound as you can get. Quaintance just skied above everyone.
Mitchell tried to massé it in. Stone left short. Aberdeen winning the race again. Oweh found a path. And a finish. Timeout, Dennis Gates in Missouri. It is an 11-0 Kentucky run spanning both halves, and the Cats flexing their muscles here in Rupp. Finally. Kentucky suffered through 3 significant first-half droughts. And they're digging the way out of that hole, but the defense has been the difference during this run. Missouri has 3 turnovers and is 0 for 2. Allowing Kentucky to score the last 11, including the Oweh buzzer-beating 3 at the half. 3-quarter court heat. Here's Randall looking inside for Mitchell. There's some banging going on there, a near steal, but it's a quick kick by Quaintance. Mitchell and Diabate, an interesting matchup on the post.
Checking in for Missouri is number 11, Pierce.
Pierce returns from Mizzou, and the freshman Randall takes a seat.
Yeah, watch for Cruz getting a screen for a corner 3, 35 in black. They'd like to run baseline out of bounds plays for him.
Stone had a full head of steam, but Pierce committed the foul on the illegal screen on the dribble handoff.
And you have to earn that whistle if you're Kentucky. That's the physicality that Coach Pope wants to see of busting through screens. We highlighted it in the first half where they got beat on those types of plays against Alabama. They weren't physical enough getting through the screens. You get rewarded with that on the whistle side if you can bust through the way Lowe just did.
Now Kentucky looking to go inside. Quaintance only has a single point today. And Pierce rips it away. Good denial inside. Here's Barrett. Cruz wanted the lob.
Quaintance has to get deeper post position. I don't think 8 to 10 feet out trying to back down against a scrappy Missouri team is going to be the look Kentucky wants.
Tigers 0 for 2 this half. Barrett leans in and banks it in. Tigers' biggest issue has been fouls here in the second half as we approach the under 16 timeout here in a moment. Lowe shakes Pierce to Owe. Kentucky shooting 42% on the season in corner threes. Lowe decided against the three and went in for the mid-range shot. So not a great three-point shooting team here in Kentucky, but when they spot up in the corners, they are as dangerous as anybody.
Yeah, that's a high percentage look. I think a lot of that is you typically have your shooters set up in the corner, and rarely do you get an off the bounce three-point attempt in the corner. And those catch and stick threes are typically a higher percentage look for any offense.
Kentucky lobs it into the backcourt. Missouri's baseline out of bounds defense can turn you over. It's very efficient. So Kentucky avoids that, but now they don't get in their offense until late. 7 to shoot. Moreno posted up. Nothing there. Diabate gives it up. Here's a corner three. Good for Denzel Aberdeen. He is now 9 for 19 shooting out of the corners. That is a huge departure from his overall average. Mitchell inside using 2. Hard screen from Moreno, picked off Cruz. Diabate looking to go high-low.
Yeah, you got to just throw it to him. Too late. He was open the first time.
Another steal by Missouri's big, and Mitchell tied up by Jalen Lowe. 4-point Kentucky lead.
Well, Kentucky's starting to heat up offensively, and just good ball reversal here. Owe turning one down. He had missed Aberdeen earlier in the half, and this time he says, I got you, man. Rewards it with a corner three, but Missouri goes to their main man, Mitchell, who won't be denied down low. Too much time to Missouri to fight around, creates a turnover. That is 2 points in the paint that results in a turnover just because of a timing situation. So yes, the big-to-big interior passing needs to be better.
Mitchell couldn't finish at the rim. Trent Pierce, by the way, had that steal. He's got 2 interior steals. Aberdeen jumps out front. And they got Missouri in rotation, but Cruz blocks Owe's 3 into Moreno. Back out, another corner 3. No good. And Cruz with the rebound. Kentucky just seems sped up that entire possession. Mitchell, Aberdeen got a hand on it. Barrett out to Cruz, sharpshooter, one of the best in the country, and proves it.
Really nice job by Cruz. That shot fake wasn't just with the head. He got that ball raised up above his head and sold it well.
3rd in the country in three-point percentage, better than 51 tonight. Here's Lowe, 10 to shoot for Kentucky. Cats clinging to a 1-point lead. Now 6 to shoot. Contested 3, no good, not close, and Pierce lost it after he got on the floor for it. Moreno can't clean it up either. Empty possession again for the Cats. Robinson, lob, Mitchell all alone, and 2-hand jam to finish.
Well, Missouri really good at recognizing matchups, and Mitchell ran down the court. He had Lowe posted up, and just a good job by the perimeter of not overthinking it, just throw it up to Mitchell.
Tigers on a 7-0 run over the last 2 minutes. Owe working on Barrett. Cruz tapped it right back out to the Cats. Lowe again. Got that one.
He's a career 29% three-point shooter, but I think he's better than that. I think he could be in that 32 to 35 range for this Kentucky team, and they need him to be.
He had 10 20-point games last year for Pitt on his way to All-ACC honors. Mitchell was challenged by Moreno. Cats looking to build and a push up front. Back to Cam Williams for 3. Unselfish basketball results in an assist on the 3 from Cam Williams.
And this is the smaller lineup, the three-point shooting lineup, and you see it paying dividends right now.
Cats answered Missouri's one with one of their own. 6-0. Kentucky sprint over just 18 seconds. Back to Rupp in a moment.
The perfect snack box is everything. So So customize your box, sweet and salty your box, protein pack your box, movie night perfect your box. Build your own incredible snack box at nuts.com and get 20% off plus free shipping.
How's that flu?
I got this. I don't got this.
You need Dayquil Intense Flu.
Power through your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. You do got this. Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching fever, power through your flu medicine.
Cats lead by 5 coming up next on ESPN2. A ranked matchup in the SEC. Alabama goes into Memorial to take on undefeated 14-0 Vandy, two of the top 10 scoring teams in the country. And Tyler Tanner coming up a 19-point, 14-assist performance for a Vandy team that's a little banged up. Duke Miles, Frankie Collins, both injured. We'll see if Miles is able to go and return to action tonight.
I love watching Tyler Tanner play for Vanderbilt, the sophomore from Brentwood, Tennessee, and anxious to see how he fares against the backcourt of Alabama. But those 14 assists, just one turnover. I mean, that guy, he can lead a team, and he's underrated defensively as well. Gets a lot of steals, but can stay in front of his man, and that'll be challenging against the likes of Robert and Philon and others.
So Mark Pope managing the Jalen Lowe exposure. He goes to the bench as Colin Chandler sees the floor for the first time in the second half.
But still a 4-guard around 1 type lineup for Kentucky.
Phillips lost the handle on it. He's been sitting for the last 7 minutes. Hunter Boateng hadn't played in the first half, didn't play in the Florida game. And Dennis Gates got to find the right buttons to push. It's a second personal on Cam Williams. Pardon me, that's a third on Otega Owe. We'll keep an eye on Owe's foul trouble at 12:43. And another whistle going against the Cats. And that's Colin Chandler.
That's a really good counter by Dennis Gates. He knows the scouting report is out that they like to do those corner threes for Cruz. Instead of coming off the screen, he back cut. Chandler is caught off guard.
And a slip in for Boateng. He blew the bunny, and then Kentucky lost it out of bounds. These teams have seen some at-the-rim defense. Cats are just 7 for 13 at the rim, and Missouri 9 for 15. Barrett running the offense for Mizzou. Only one starter on the floor right now, that's Cruz. And a bad pass for Barrett, taken away by Williams. Barrett compounds by committing his second person. This is a secondary lineup for Dennis Gates, and you wonder if they can afford to make it to the under 12 timeout. I misspoke, 2 starters, Phillips and Cruz on the floor for the Tigers.
Good news for Missouri is that these guys have a lot of experience given the injuries they've had. And Dennis Gates comes from that Leonard Hamilton tree, always with a deep rotation.
Gates had wonderful things to say about his mentor, Leonard Hamilton. We went back and discussed Leonard's assistant coaching days for Joby Hall here at Kentucky. Leonard could recruit anybody, couldn't he? Even guys that jump straight to the league.
Oh man, what was your fact you learned today?
Daryl Dawkins.
Daryl Dawkins, that's right. The one that got away.
Got Sam Bowie, among others. Diabate with a foul, his first. It was Leonard's experience with a winless Miami team in Big East play that allowed Gates to stay calm, and Missouri was winless in conference action a couple of years ago. Lob, not a great pass, and Phillips couldn't corral it.
You're exactly right. If that's on point, that's 2 points for Missouri.
Cats lead by a nickel. Here's Chandler. Aberdeen lost it for a moment. Lost Boateng. And left it short on the rim. Rushed corner threes, no good.
Well, you got to get back. Missed corner threes lead to transition. And not sure that's as quick of a look as they wanted.
Foul on Diabate. Cats clinging to a 5-point lead inside Rupp Arena. How do you see that one going?
Boy, it's who to watch for. You look at Chambliss, 362 passing yards against Georgia. Human highlight reel. Can't wait to see it.
I got Dan Lanning in Oregon in the second one, highlighted by Will Stein's offense. They didn't play well against Indiana in the first matchup. Dante Moore threw 2 picks at a season low in yardage. And the new head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats will coordinate that offense. By the way, Kurt Cignetti has only faced the team for the second time of the season once. That was back in 2007. Elon lost to Furman in the FCS playoffs in their second matchup of the season. So keep that in mind. Diabate challenged and goes over the trees to finish.
Oh, good patience by Diabate there. They're sitting on that left hand. They know which way he likes to go. Puts it down with his right. Pump fakes. Finishes well with the paint.
Robinson. Wow. Missouri came in with something to prove, and the boys from the Show Me State are doing it here in Rupp. They've never won a game here in Rupp Arena. Williams shuffles it inside. And too handsy. Prove it state, show me state, whatever works, whatever's on the license.
Well, here they are sitting on that left hand, and Diabate says, all right, you're going to give me the right. I can still finish with my left on the right side. And Robinson just really talented. He can make some tough twos, and he does it from mid-range, floaters. Of course, hit that huge 3-point shot in their win at home against Florida late.
Robinson commits his second personal. He's a great defender, but he gets into foul trouble awful. Pierce, great hands again. He's got 2 steals, and now he ties up Diabate. And Missouri's got possession error.
And Tom, that's because Missouri says, okay, you're just going to throw it in the backcourt and not run a baseline out of bounds play. We're going to adjust our defense. We're not just going to sit there. We're going to extend our defense. And they find a way to get a turnover there in those special team situations these coaches love to preach about.
Missouri put that game plan in before the Florida game. Florida did the same thing. Mitchell takes it strong, got the roll, and he's going to the line.
I love this matchup. Mitchell and Diabate, similar size, similar strengths, lefties. Boom. Just a little shake. He gets enough of an angle, and he is one of the best in the country at and-ones. 18 and-ones on the season coming into this game for Mitchell.
Diabate spent a lot of time talking about the scouting report this week. You think he would have known that Mitchell is prone to going leftist. And Mitchell sneaks it over the front of the rim.
You got to give Missouri a lot of credit. I mean, Kentucky had that 11-0 run that spanned 2 halves, and Missouri on the road has found a way to just keep chipping away and tie this thing back up.
Lowe got Robinson behind him. Now he's matched up with Mitchell. Size advantage, quick shot. Quaintance lost it. It'll be Missouri basketball, tied at 49.
They like what they see by pounding the ball in down low. I think that is a good way for Kentucky to get paint touches because they don't have a lot of guys that can beat their own guy off the bounce. And I think that's why you see the ball going in down low so much. But I would still like to see if you can't get away the ball going downhill, get them going off some screens.
Kentucky has dominated the series. This is the 20th meeting. Cats have won 16 and only lost 3. Little jump hook from Phillips, going against his former Arizona State teammate in Quaintance. Away goes right after Pierce, blocked by Phillips, and a whistle goes against Missouri, and that'll be the 4th on Phillips. Dennis Gates trying to insist this should be 1 of 1. He's saying it should have been on Pierce. He wants it to be a call on Pierce, but that won't be the case.
Good physical drive by Oweh. After 13 points in the first half, been pretty quiet here in the second. So they got to get him going again. One way is to get himself to the free throw line.
Let's take Oweh, who's been in double figures now 48 out of 51 games as a Wildcat. It only occurred 22 times in 60 games when he was at Oklahoma.
He's got an interesting form. I don't know that he does it so much on his free throw, but on his three-point shot, he has a hitch at the very beginning of his shot, and it kind of throws the defender off where it kind of looks like a ball fake almost.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
It comes straight out from where his belt buckle would be before going up.
It's a fascinating release, but one he's confident in and still able to knock a decent percentage down.
Certainly more pronounced this year than it was last year, even if it was still there. Robinson corrals his own miss. Little fellow stuck inside, and Moreno had it, and then they're going to get Boateng, I believe, with the reach-in.
The sarcastic applause from Dennis Gates on every foul he doesn't agree with. He says, guys, keep your head up, but now I'm going to go make a case for us on the other end.
Cats in the bonus. 8:55 to play. Kentucky, 74% free throw shooting team. They're +2 on average at the free throw line, but it was interesting talking with the Missouri staff. They said you cannot take anything from the Kentucky stats. The averages will not give you a true picture of who this team is. You've really got to look and see what they've done against the power conference opponents or the power opponents, including Gonzaga, versus the rest. Such a stark difference.
It hadn't been the prettiest game for either team, but let's not forget it. This thing's massive early in conference play. You got a Missouri team that felt like they were dead in the water. They beat Florida at home. If you beat Florida at home, go on the road and beat Kentucky, you're 2-0 in conference play to start. That is huge. On the other side, boy, 0-2 for Kentucky. That would take some mental toughness, which they have.
That hasn't happened since 05-06. Robinson, no.
And you got to defend home court in this league. I mean, that's the biggest part of it. Kentucky getting over that hurdle that, hey, we could be good against good teams, and they just haven't shown that consistently this year. Great opportunity in front of them.
Moreno and Garrison, the two bigs on the floor of this lineup, and Pierce with the reach in.
Balance on Pierce, that's his third.
Third personal on Pierce. Dennis Gates is as active a hunch player as a coach as you'll see, and especially with some of his lineup decisions. And Connor Boateng, sophomore from Little Rock, hadn't played in a game and a half. Now, pivotal point of the game, he's still out there for Mizzou. Lowe's got another one coming.
Oh, the fouls are piling up for Missouri right now as this Kentucky offense that can go stagnant, but they've found a way to get themselves to the stripe, getting the bonus pretty early, and this guy at the stripe right now, he has controlled the tempo of the game. 0 turnovers. The rest of the team has 10, and the more low, the better they are on the offensive end. He just knows how to dictate tempo and control the pace.
And he is perfect from the free throw line, 4 for 4. Jaden Stone returned to the lineup for Missouri. See where Dennis Gates wants to go in this set. To Mitchell, guarded by Garrison. He'll go to his left eventually. There it is. Lost his footing. Reversed it. Couldn't finish. Mitchell down. Numbers for the Cats the opposite way. 5 on 4. To Moreno. First Kentucky field goal in 3 minutes. It's a 4-point lead. Robinson into low. 5 to shoot. Stone pump fake. 3 to shoot. Down the lane with the left. And Jaden Stone, the transfer from West Virginia, gets his first bucket of this half. Lowe answers with a drive and a kick. Got it! Cam Williams, second triple. The Cats answer. On the shot clock. Mitchell to his left again and draws the whistle with 8 seconds left on the shot clock. starting to put it together.
Yeah, they are. Garrison with a good defensive effort, and then he decides, I'll be your point center, gets a nice assist, a big smile on his face, and then Lowe just makes the right decision every time for a corner three. Wildcats rolling.
Bears lead.
All right, thanks, KC. Here's Mark Mitchell at the free throw line, and he rolls the first one home. He's got 18. Kevin mentioned the 6 unbeatens remaining in men's college basketball. That includes Miami, Ohio at 16-0. And as soon as we finish here, we'll take you to the West End of Nashville for 14-0 Vandy and Alabama. 19 now for Mitchell. It's a 3-point game. Barrett replaces Mitchell as Missouri gets smaller. And their premier post player in this lineup is the true freshman at 6'9", Nicholas Randall.
Yeah, but even with a smaller lineup, they got to get to the round with just 3 free throws in the second half for Missouri.
Moreno stripped on his way up. It'll be a foul against Missouri. They'll get Barrett his 3rd. 10-team foul.
And I know Dennis Gates does not agree with these calls, but a message to his team was, guys, we've got to defend without fouling. We got to show our hands, still be physical, and the gap is growing right now as Kentucky will take their 21st and 22nd free throw compared to just 13 for Missouri. That's a category that Dennis Gates has built his program on. Hey, we're going to give up some things defensively at times, and maybe we won't get as many shots as the other team, but we're going to make up for that with the free throw line and our steal rate, and that hadn't quite been there.
They turned Kentucky over a few times in the first half with 8 steals from Missouri, right at their season average. Here's Robinson to walk it up. Kentucky went on an 11-0 run to take control of this game between the end of the half and beginning of the second. They're 8-0 this season when they have a double-digit scoring run. Stone ball fake. Wide open 3 after Lowe flew by. The veteran Stone has been besieged by injuries over his college career. Didn't play at all for West Virginia last year. And another drive and a kick. And Randall with a one-hand rebound.
If I'm Missouri, I might run that same play again, get Lowe involved in that double screen action.
That was a dangerous pass from Robinson, trying to throw it in from 45 feet. Otega-Oweh full head. And fouled.
Well, this is one of those opportunities for Kentucky. Check out Lowe here. He takes the long path, and as a result, he's late on the closeout, has to fly by the shooter. If you stay attached to the hip of the shooter, trail him the entire way, you're probably there on time and take away that 3-point shot.
So Otega-Oweh at the free throw line, 80% on the season, 4 for 6 tonight. Meanwhile, Tigers will return to full strength. Mark Mitchell and Sean Phillips Jr. on the interior for the Tigers. This is a massive lineup from Missouri with the 6'10" Pierce playing the 3 spot.
Missouri, the 10th tallest team in the country, so this is part of their recipe going into this season. They want to be long, active defensively, shot blockers, steals. They're going to have to put together consecutive stops because Kentucky continues to get to the free throw line on this side.
Always got 17 to lead the Cats. Mitchell, a game-high 19 for Mizzou. Here's Mitchell trying to go high-low. Phillips on Moreno. Whoa, what a move by Phillips. Moreno erases it. Thought he was lost. He was there the whole time. Oweh to Garrison. On their feet at Rupp Arena. 5 to play. Here's Pierce. No good. Lowe blew by Robinson. Robinson. Here's Williams back up top, and Garrison finds Owe in the corner. There it is! 20-point night for Otega Owe. Fourth time in the last 6 games, he's passed the 20-point plateau. It's a 6-0 Kentucky run.
This is the complimentary basketball. Moreno doesn't give up on the play. After he gets beat, he recovers with that length, and Owe just penetrates. I love the way Garrison sprinted the floor, and that had to feel so good for Garrison. This guy's only played 7 minutes in this game. He's been kind of the odd man out, and he makes a great pass there. The emotion Tin and White has been playing with, the passion, the excitement, shows you that he hadn't given up on this season. This Kentucky Wildcat team might be down, but they're not out. And you're seeing that chemistry and the love for one another shine the way Mark Pope wants them to.
Yeah, Garrison played 17 minutes total over the last 2 games. Remember, he started the first 5. His production allows you a longer runway to get Jaden Quaintance to where he needs to be.
Yeah, and here's the thing. In today's NIL world and transfers and everything else, it's popular. Everybody talks about, yeah, these kids, you can't coach them that hard anymore. They hit adversity and they quit and they run, this and that. All I've seen from Garrison is being excited to play and be a star in your role no matter what your coach needs from you. I think he's had a terrific 7 minutes in this game. 4 points, 3 boards, 2 assists. You can't ask much more than Tin and White.
And the effort for Owe on this 6-0 run, he's accounted for all 6. He scored 4, and he has an assist. So on the Missouri side of things, 4:34 to play. You're down 8. You're trying to get to 2-0 in the SEC for the first time. And Dennis Gates, after going deep to his bench, has his starters on the floor. This is key part of the game for Missouri if they want to come out of here with a win.
Well, and you've got to get 25 and block the ball somehow, because he's a terrific passer, is Mitchell. He's great at drawing fouls and getting to the free throw line, and that's how you get this crowd out of the game and try to slow Kentucky down.
This was a sleepy crowd in the first half. They'd come alive in the second. High-low Mitchell to Pierce.
That's just such a pinpoint, terrific pass by Mitchell. You can't put it anywhere better where only his man can get it.
Garrison offers the screen. Low. Rejected. Pierce and Robinson were right there. Up ahead to Stone. And a two-hand jam.
Probably the first mistake Lowe has made in this game. And when the point guard goes in and nobody else gets back, easy money on the other end.
Tipped away. It'll be Missouri basketball, and the Tiger defense has the visitors from Columbia poised to make some noise late. Mark Byington trying to prove that Vandy is for real. One of the 6 remaining unbeatens in men's college basketball.
With all the discussions about Kentucky's lineups and who does he trust to start, interesting lineup here as we go down the home stretch. 3 minutes, a bigger lineup, a good defensive lineup, and the reward of Garrison for his activity shown so far.
He's guarding Mitchell, who's leading all scorers. He lost Mitchell, back out to Stone for 3. Beautiful assist from Mark Mitchell to Jaden Stone.
And you can't lose him, and you're exactly right. That's Mitchell. Everything's got to go through 25. He's a playmaker for himself and for others, as Missouri shows zone now.
Cats could have put the game away a few minutes ago. Now it's a 7-0 Mizzou run. Williams 3 at the top of the key. Best shooter on the floor right now for Kentucky. Owe shares it with them all alone. And Robinson comes out of there with it. Stone. Challenge 3 on the sidestep. Rebounded by Kentucky. Dennis Gates gives his guys great latitude on the offensive end.
He trusts this zone defense right now against Kentucky. Cam Williams, really the one guy you got to look for from 3. Owe and Lowe capable as well.
And they slow down this Kentucky offense. 5 to shoot. Garrison bangs into Phillips. Jump good.
He's got a level of physicality and toughness down low and confidence right now against the 7-foot big man Phillips. Not many guys can go toe-to-toe like that.
Yeah,
Finisher tough too.
Phillips in foul trouble. He's playing with 4. 2 minutes to play. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell down the lane. No whistle on the drive. Kentucky the opposite direction. Lowe will pull it out and run some clock.
What a great decision by Lowe. Open from 3, but said, you know what, let's run clock.
Lowe. And rebounded by Stone.
He did a good decision on the clock, but they hadn't been able to really stop him in penetration, and you're in the double bonus trying to get in the paint, get to the free throw line.
See who Dennis Gates draws this one up for. Pierce is an elite shooter with size. Double screen for Robinson. Lob to Phillips. What a play! 1-point game as we approach the 1-minute mark. And Kentucky will use the timeout. Missouri not going anywhere.
Really nice play by Missouri. I mean, they get a ball screen and a back screen. So you screen one, and then right now you just didn't have any help on that backside. And Kentucky has played with much more purpose defensively, but that is not even close to the effort they've shown most of this game. That's just kind of standing, watching, not really understanding where man and ball is. And that was the no call Dennis Gates was upset about, as the officials ruled that Moreno went straight up and down. Never, if he had launched from point A to point B, it's an automatic foul. They felt like he was straight up and vertical.
So 1:03 to play. Kentucky has the basketball. Missouri has mixed up man and zone. The zone really slowed down Kentucky from an execution standpoint. Tigers looked like they were going man after the make on the dunk. What do they do here coming out of the timeout?
Well, I think a lot of it is going to be matchup based and seeing exactly who Kentucky has on the floor. And if I'm Kentucky, regardless what it is, you get the ball in Lowe's hands and try to get some penetration and recognize you're in a bonus situation.
Cats 17 of 24 from the free throw line tonight. They've been to the line 11 times more than Mizzou. Missouri has never won a game at Rupp Arena. Cats, in fact, have dominated the series, 9-0 in this building, 16-3 overall. Cats own the possession arrow, in addition to being in the double bonus. Phillips with 4 fouls is on the floor. Mitchell, Missouri's leading scorer, is on the floor. No acquaintance for Kentucky, but Lowe will run the point.
I would have not have thought to start this game. No Quaintance, no Aberdeen, no Diamante to wrap up this game, but Mark Pope trusts this 5.
Ole fumbles it out of bounds, back to Missouri.
And that's all the Missouri ball pressure on the passer and not letting Owe just come get that handoff. They denied it and made the pass extremely difficult. Great ball pressure there by Missouri. What a massive last minute here. You mentioned Missouri has never won in this building. They have a chance to go 2-0 in conference play with wins against Florida and Kentucky, while the Wildcats could be staring at 0-2.
Dennis Gates is really hard to prepare for these situations. He is often unconventional, going to a player for a go-ahead or game-winning shot that hasn't gotten up a lot of shots over the course of the game. Mitchell hit a huge one in the win against #1 Kansas last year as one example. Robinson takes the screen, dumps it off to Mitchell, working on Garrison, left hand spin and good. Missouri up with 36 seconds to play. Here's Aberdeen. 6-second difference, shot and game clock. Missouri by 1, another Kentucky turnover, and the Tigers have it with the shot clock off. And an opportunity to send Kentucky to a loss in its league home opener for the first time since 2013.
Well, you know Missouri wants to get Mitchell involved, and they did a really nice job of just doing a little ball screen action. Kentucky doesn't like to switch, so they get the matchup they want. And Mitchell is just so dangerous, especially right there in the middle of the court where Missouri wants to play. And then here, Cam Williams is like, no, man, I was going to come up for this. I wasn't going to back cut for the ball. Even if he gets the back cut, it's a dangerous pass in traffic. And we've talked about these Kentucky bigs. It's not that they're selfish. It's not that they won't pass, but they aren't playmaking passing bigs as a group. And you saw it hurt them right there. 2 empty possessions in a row. The turnover trying to get Oweh the ball, and then that pass in traffic right at his feet.
It was kind of funny talking to Dennis Gates today. He railed on Nate Oates and said he just told the entire league what we didn't want Kentucky to be aware of. He just gave away the game plan, and now I know tonight Kentucky's going to force some big passes. All right, Missouri's got the ball. 28 seconds left. The shot clock is off. Who do you want to make sure they have the ball in the hands of?
Yeah, it's not always just about the percentages. It's about the clutch factor. And I think Dennis Gates trusts multiple guys at the line, including his point guard, Anthony Robinson, just 69% on the year. But again, he was the hero making that huge shot against Florida. Right now, if you're Kentucky, you're trying to deny everything. But certainly the best shooter on the court, being 35, Cruz. 81% from the stripe.
Tigers with the lead. Kentucky goes full court. Cats trying to avoid dropping to 0-2 in league play. A kick by Williams. That hasn't happened since Tubby Smith's 8th season. Losing to Vandy and Bama. And 05-06.
Kentucky going to switch all this. So Chandler playing it deep, but keep an eye on Cruz trying to get open here.
Cruz in the corner. Oh, and a foul. And they got another kick, pardon me. So 26.5, not a foul, but they were forcing Cruz to give it up.
Well, that's where the inbounds passer Pierce is going to have to come meet the ball, because they're going to double team this, and the guy going to be open will be the inbounds passer. And at that point, you foul Pierce. He's 2 for 4 in the year, has not been there much.
Home run ball. Stone's got it. Chandler stole it. Alberty with a chance. 20 to play. Here's Oweh. No good. Missouri comes out of there with it. 13.8 remaining. Stone went for the bucket when he could have pulled it out, and he's lucky that Oweh didn't finish on the other end.
They like that home run play, does Missouri, and Stone goes up and gets this just over the outstretched hands of the defender, and credit Chandler for not giving up on the play. Just an incredible save, and Kentucky's best offense is Otega Oweh in transition, and he just flat out misses it.
This is a Kentucky team tonight that is just 6 for 13 on layups. And the last likely being the most costly. Anthony Robinson the second at the free throw line for Missouri. 13.8 to play.
Robinson at the line for 1 and the bonus.
This 1 for 2 tonight. This is a 1-on-1. Missed it. Pierce out to Stone. Taylor's got a foul quickly. 10.8 left.
Got to have a physical box out there. Trent Pierce is back for the second game, but the impact he's made on this team, keeping this ball alive. You've got to step in, be physical, and corral that defensive rebound. Keep an eye on 24 and White. He steps in, but just doesn't keep contact. So before the shot even hit the rim, Moreno is stepping in towards the basket. Just stay connected to your opponent. Pierce makes it pay.
Stone missed 7 games with a broken hand, non-shooting hand. He converts here. Missouri hits a 70-point mark, which is a key for him. Tigers are 11-0 this season when scoring 70 or more. So make it a 3-point lead. Calmly sinks the second.
I think you want to get it to half court, get a timeout, get your best 3-point shooting team in, and it is not in right now.
Low, past midcourt, 9.8 remaining. And that'll give Mark Pope an opportunity to set it up. Let's go to studio.
All right, Tom, they are underway right now over on ESPN News. Number 13, Alabama. Number 11, Vanderbilt. Bama opened SEC play Saturday with the win over Kentucky. Vandy is unbeaten at 14-0. A great one in Nashville after you go final, Tom, at Rupp.
Bye, Kevin. Thanks. Tom Hardane Bradshaw, 9.8 remaining in this one. Cats trying to avoid falling in their SEC home opener for the first time since 2013. What do they draw up here in the half court?
Well, I think you got to get the ball in Jalen Lowe's hands, and there's still enough time to get penetration. Try to get a paint touch, kick out three. And if it's not there, there's enough time to go in and get it quick, too. But if you're Missouri, I like playing this thing straight up. I don't think Kentucky, even though they've shot the ball pretty well from three tonight, I think you try to play this one straight up instead of foul and send them to the line.
Missouri has never won a game in Rupp Arena. They are 0-9 in this building. Kentucky had an 8-point lead with 4:36 to go. Last night, men's college basketball blown leads across the land. And now, Kentucky perhaps facing the same fate. Missouri has scored 13 of the last 15 points. Always got Phillips in front of him. Dumps it off to Lowe. 8 to play. Now 6. Lowe pulls up in front of Mitchell. A knuckleball, no good. Rebounded by Stone, and he'll go to the line with 2.4 remaining. And the Boo Birds raining down from the Raptors here at Rupp. What a monster turnaround this would represent for Dennis Gates in Missouri.
Well, they switched this ball screen, and Mitchell, who can guard 1 through 5, and you see it right there. He starts on the 5, he guards the 1, and just, of course you don't love it because you just make one move, shoot a contested shot. Would have liked to see Lowe come off that harder, but he felt like he was going to get an opening if they didn't switch.
What a turnaround for Missouri, reminiscent of what Norm Stewart did in 1993. They went down to open Bud Walton Arena. They got blown away by about 40. Norm called Dennis Gates after the Illinois loss right before Christmas. I asked him today, hey, what'd the old coach tell you? And with a wink, he said, some things are best kept between friends. I don't think Norm was happy. But now an opportunity for Missouri to go 2-0 in the league for the first time in their SEC history. It's a 5-point Mizzou win. First at home against the reigning national champions, and now in Rupp Arena.
We asked Dennis Gates, what's the most famous, legendary place you've ever had a road win on as a head coach? I think we know that answer now. It's Rupp Arena. Unbelievable.
First loss for Cats in a home opener since 13. Big one tonight in the SEC. First Missouri over Kentucky, and now Bama and Vandy. Here's Roy Philpott.